All right. On today's 30-minute mechanic, we're going to be back on the 83 again. We're going to be pulling the intake off of it. The China wall in the front, it's the part of the block right there underneath the intake manifold, continues to leak oil, and it is driving me bananas. So I'm just going to have to pull it off and reseal it. So today, we're going to see if we can get the intake pulled off of the car. So buckle up. Let's go. All right, first thing we're going to do before we do anything is we're going to bump the motor around to firing on number 1, just like we did when we monkeyed with the distributor. So that'll all be set because we got to pull the distributor out to get the intake off. So here we go. Let's bump it around. Okay, we're past. Come on. Let's see where we're at. We should be, just needs to go right over there. Perfect. Right on the nose. All right, we're going to hook this now. And that's not totally necessary, but it's something I like to do when I start taking things apart. That way I know where my distributor needs to be and I don't have to monkey around and, pull a valve cover, figure out which top dead center is the right one. It's just in the right spot and I know it 100%. So firing on number 1. We can unplug a few things here. Actually, really, we just needed to unplug the distributor. And guess we can just dive in here. Get our air cleaner off. Air filter off. Say hello to Mr. Brawler 850. And we got to get the fuel line off of it, which is probably going to dribble gas everywhere, but oop, and I'm tripping over stuff because I have tools on the floor. I thought I was prepared. Never prepared. I'm going to take it loose right here. Come on. There we go. Get me a rag here. I haven't started it lately, so maybe there's not a whole lot of fuel just sitting around in it. There. I may have a cap. That would be a great idea. Let's go find that. Hold on. I do. That's probably one of the smartest things I've thought of in recent history. Is just putting a cap on this end. So if there's any fuel in the fuel lines or slosh back out of the bowls, it doesn't run out of the deal there, run out of the line. All right. Now I guess we got to find a deep socket. Deep socket. Get our carburation nation here loose. And this is a Brawler 850. 850 is maybe a little on the small side for an engine of this size. But what am I going to do with this thing? But at the time, it was on sale at Holly. Holly sells brawlers. and I needed one, and it fit the requirement. They didn't have anything bigger. What did my socket? So 850 is what we're dealing with. I have run with the previous big block with the solid roller and everything. I had a Dominator, 1050 Dominator on it that really ran well. You know what I could do? Know what I could do? I could just set this carburetor over to the side here. Let me go ahead and get the rest of these bolts off. And yeah, it could probably use a 1050 or or a 950 or something, but 850 is going to work for now. Big Fords, I don't know what about them, but they tend to like big carburetors. Okay, what I might do here is let me find a box or one of these trays, and then I'm going to set the carburetor over to the side. So hang on just a second. Y'all missed it. I just crashed my head into the hood on this thing. Okay, where's my wrench? Forgot to take the return spring deal off. Get that loose. I'm just going to put that screw right back in the hole. Okay. Now I'm just going to lift this thing off and set it in this cardboard tray. That way I don't have to, maybe I won't have to mess with anything. I can just sit over here out of the way like that. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm not going to jack with my gaskets or anything here because we're literally just going to pull the intake off, clean it up, re-goom pucky the ends, and put it back on. So now I'm going to jack with the carburetor gaskets there, but I do need to get a vacuum hose off the back here. Vacuum hose off. Get back on there. And then one other little thing. Yeah, we can do that after. Let's get our distributor out now since we know it's at top dead center. Everything's cool there. I really need my workmate over here to put my tools on. And I've been thinking about, if y'all watch the video with the locking out the distributor, you know how I struggled to get the bolt back in there. The bolt and the hold down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my friendly neighborhood Ace Hardware over here, and I'm going to see if they got a stud that I can put in there. And then that'll make it easier to drop that hold down in the right spot and then put a nut on it. So I'm gonna look for those tomorrow, I think, because it's so hard to get that little dude down in there. I'm just gonna put that in the box with the carburetor, and probably should disconnect the negative post of the battery, just so I don't have any surprises. Come on. Since the battery is right here, maybe this is not working. Okay, battery is disconnected. Now I won't accidentally lay a tool against that positive post or something. Okay, distributor coming out. We're pointed at number 1, so we've got to remember that. Maybe. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Distributor is out. And we got to find a place to put it too. Never prepared. I'm putting it in that's for sure. Never prepared. All right. Here we are. Let me find a rag. Let me get that rag. Come here. Now, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what the whole reason for this is. All right, the whole reason I'm pulling this intake off is, can you see the oil right there? There's oil puddled there and down there. And there's a drip there. That may be a new drip. And you can see how I've slathered goon pucky on there. RTV, trying to get it to stop. I think it's leaking right back under here, but I can't get under there with my engine mount being here. There's no room to get my finger in there and see what I'm doing. So it's worth it for the cost of a set of intake gaskets to just yank it off, clean it up, put it back on, make sure we really do it right this time, even though I thought I was really doing it right last time. All right, let's get to taking this intake off. All right, since I stuck my box right in front of my camera over there, I decided to move it over here. Big Fords have lots of intake bolts. And yeah, not my favorite intake bolt layout. I wish they would have done it differently, but you know, I really need something to put these bolts in. I mean, gosh, you'd think by now I would be prepared. Okay, I've got us a magnetic bolt tray thing, and I'm going to stick this paper towel right there in the distributor hole because I don't want to drop a bolt down in there. That would not make for a good Tuesday. Not at all. Just going to pop out the vertical ones first. Hey, come back here. I'm just going to go in and loosen those two up. And then, you know, Big Fords use big bolts. I like big bolts, and I cannot lie, I guess. They use 3/8 inch bolts. And they use how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bolts. 14 3/8 bolts. You could probably pick you could probably pick my dually up. Well, I'm sure you could pick my dually up with that. You could probably pick a trailer house up with that. 14 3/8 bolts. It's just crazy town. Now, and of course, they had one of them right here under the water neck, which isn't a problem with some water necks because they stick up, but this one's comes out low, and it makes it where you can unbolt the bolt, but you can't pull it out, which is fine. Let's get that thing out of there. You see it's loose, but you can't take it out. This one you can. Because it's short. And I'm not doing these in any particular order. I'm just taking them out as I come to them. If I can ever get it out. See, it helps if you go, oh, daggum, I was going the right way. Come on. Short one. Let's bop around here and get this short one. Try not to bash my knuckles on stuff. Because there's all kinds of things for me to. I don't want to bash my knuckles on these injector bung plugs or the cotter pins. I don't know why they did horizontal bolts and vertical. Seems a little overkill. You might be looking at my spacer right there and wondering what's up with those weird looking carburetor studs. That is an old Mr. Gasket adapter plate to go from a 4150 to a 4500. So a regular Holly pattern to a Dominator pattern. Either way, looks like I actually have it upside down. Ah, interesting. I didn't notice that. Huh. I may have to change that. This is our last bolt. It's funny. I haven't even noticed that I had that thing on upside down. Maybe I can't put it on the other way. I don't know. Okay, intake bolts are all out. Last thing to do, take out the water temperature for the water, mechanical water temp gauge. Slip it out of there. And then our intake will be loose. That's gonna drive me crazy. Oh, that's what we need to do right there. Get in there. Perfect. And always feed that thing through the intake there. Keeps it out of harm's way because you don't want to bend these lines. If you put a hard bend in it, they won't work anymore. Okay. Here's the fun part. Getting there to come loose. That wasn't bad. Okay. Okie doke. Now here comes the next fun part. Because even though this is aluminum, it's heavy. And I better have a landing spot, which I have right behind me. See if I can get a hold of it. Pull it out. Come on. Okay, it dripped a little bit of water, but nothing serious. All right. Intake ports all look good. Sweet. An interesting look about stuff in there. Huh. Okie dokie. All right, I'm gonna look around in here for a minute, kind of see what everything looks like. All right, kind of gave it a look-see. It kind of has a funny look to it, but I think it's because of the super bright Harbor Freight light that I have shining down in there that makes stuff look kind of weird. I mean, because you can see everything with this daggum thing, even the little dust particles from me tearing off a paper towel. We're gonna lay this down in here. Let me add another one here at the top. Just to kind of keep things from falling in while we scrape and clean. May do a little scraping and cleaning, and probably time-lapse that because nobody wants to watch me scrape gaskets. Might not even do it on camera. But I'm looking at my stuff here. Looks like right there we might have been a little, like it was barely stuck right there. It's probably leaking right over here. See, it's really stuck right next to it, but right there it wasn't. So I think that's where our leak was. Now, I've told you all the trick before that my friend Jim Forbes taught me, and that is using a wood chisel like that. A nice sharp wood chisel to scrape RTV off and gaskets off. Great idea. Jim was on the ball when he came up with that idea, or he told me about it one time, and I was like, oh, that works so good. So we're going to scrape some gaskets. That's going to do it for part one of our intake removal and reseal. We did find the spot where the oil was coming from, the RTV. You know, I built up the RTV like I always do, but it didn't stick to the China wall like it should. So I guess maybe there was a little bit of oil on there when I was putting it on there. So that's on me. But I think I've got it clean now, and we'll put on the intake tomorrow. I'm going to clean the intake up off camera because you watch me do that and you don't want to watch me do this part again. So check out the description. Check out my friends' channels. But for now, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.